Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to really get under the hood of complex topics, try and find the insights that matter for you. Today we're looking into something loads of people think about, maybe even dream about. Studying abroad. You hear it all the time, right? That it's this amazing, life-changing thing, a golden ticket to, well, a better education, a richer life. But is that the whole story? Always. Are those benefits quite as clear-cut, or maybe are there some pretty big hurdles we don't always talk about?
That's exactly what we want to unpack in this deep dive. I mean, the idea of studying internationally is definitely very popular. It sounds fantastic. But like any huge life choice, it's complicated. Our sources lay out both sides pretty clearly. They're really big plus points and some significant drawbacks, too. So our mission today is to pull out the key takeaways, give you a balanced look at the abroad study debate, pros and cons. We want you to come away understanding it better so you can weigh it up for yourself.
Okay, let's start with the exciting part, the appeal. Our sources talk a lot about cultural immersion. What does that actually mean in practice beyond just, seeing new things?
Well, what's really transformative often is how being dropped right into it forces you to look at your own culture, your own assumptions, things you didn't even know were assumptions. It's not just learning how they do things differently. It's understanding why your way is just one way. Think about just dealing with different ideas of personal space, maybe, or trying to understand people who communicate less directly. It's those little daily things.
Right, micro experiences.
Exactly. Day after day, they build up this deeper self-awareness. You start understanding your own biases, your own thinking much better.
That's a really important point. It's not like watching a documentary, is it? It's active. Sometimes it's probably pretty uncomfortable, actually, rethinking your whole worldview. Like that example in Sources, the Bangladeshi student in the UK. They're not just reading about multiculturalism, they're living it every day. In lectures, trying to figure out local slang, just navigating a busy market. And besides that personal growth, there's a really practical benefit there too, right? Just getting massively better at English simply by being there.
Absolutely. And that constant engagement, it just ripples outwards. You inevitably end up with a much broader view on, well, everything. Global issues, how people tick, where you fit in. And your communication skills get a huge boost. Not just language, but understanding unspoken cues, adapting how you communicate, avoiding misunderstanding.
Intercultural communication.
Precisely. It's sometimes called cultural intelligence. Really valuable skills for pretty much any job these days.
Okay, so the cultural side is huge. But let's be honest, a lot of people are thinking about the academic side too, the actual education. How do the sources compare what you get abroad versus staying home? Is there often a sort of technical edge?
Yeah, the sources do point that out, especially in, say, certain fields that cross disciplines or where you need massive research gear. Some universities abroad, maybe in Europe, they're really ahead with collaborative, project-based learning. That's a different way of learning, technically speaking. You're building knowledge in a team, often an international one. Then you've got places, maybe North America, the UK, that are world leaders in specific STEM fields. Their labs might have equipment you just can't find anywhere else. That attracts certain talent, certain funding.
So it's not just about a nice campus. It's about genuinely different ways of teaching or access to things you just wouldn't get otherwise. And how does that translate after graduation? Did the sources show a clear link between that access and, like, future career benefits?
Yes, there's a strong link shown in the research. It goes beyond just the learning itself. Students who've worked with cutting-edge tech or in those unique learning setups, they gain really practical hands-on experience. That makes them stand out. It's not just a line item on a CV, it's a real skill set that might be in high demand. Plus, the networks you build with professors, with fellow students from all over those, can open doors to international jobs or collaborations later on, stuff that would be much harder to access otherwise. It's a real competitive advantage in today's job market.
Okay, so the pull factors are strong, very compelling. But like you said, it's not always straightforward. Let's switch gears now and look at the other side, the challenges. The first one that probably jumps out for most people is, well, the cost, the financial side. What do the sources say about how much it really costs, beyond just the sticker price of tuition?
Yeah, the high cost is often the biggest single blocker. And it's not just one cost, it's layers of costs. You've got tuition, obviously, which can be, frankly, eye-watering in places like the US or Canada. But then add living expenses, rent, food, everything, visa fees, health insurance, books. And people often forget the cost of flying home, maybe for breaks or if there's an emergency. There's also this hidden psychological cost. just the constant stress about money. That can definitely impact how well you do in your studies, your general well-being. And different scholarship systems, merit versus need-based, they also affect who actually gets to go.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you need a PhD in budgeting just to manage it sometimes.
Yeah.
And those are just the planned costs, right? Imagine things like currency exchange rates going wrong or unexpected doctor's visits.
Exactly. Unforeseen expenses pop up. And the sources definitely touch on the emotional toll this takes. The practical result is that some students really struggle. They might have to work way too many hours in a part-time job, which takes away from study time. Or they might cut back on social things to save cash, feel like they're missing out, or just rack up huge debts. It's not just being careful with money, it's this constant pressure, these difficult choices, which can lead to anxiety, guilt. It just makes everything harder. For many, this financial stress really makes other adjustment problems feel even worse.
Right. And beyond the money, there's the whole emotional side. Moving halfway across the world, maybe leaving home for the very first time, that can feel incredibly isolating, can it? What about homesickness and that feeling of culture shock? What does it actually feel like day to day, according to the sources?
Well, culture shock isn't always some huge dramatic event. Often, it's the little things adding up, daily frustrations. There was one example of students struggling with how queues worked or didn't work in a local shop, just a small thing. But day after day, it became really stressful. Or just how mentally tiring it is to constantly translate in your head or figure out public transport in another language.
That cognitive load, yeah.
Exactly. That constant mental effort combined with missing your friends, your family, familiar food, just your normal routine, it can lead to feeling really out of place, isolated, and proper homesickness.
That makes sense. It's the drip, drip, drip of small difficulties. And if you're struggling with that, feeling constantly out of step, it must impact everything else, right?
Yeah.
Not just whether you're enjoying it, but your actual studies too. How much does that emotional side affect the whole experience?
Oh, massively. The research is really clear on this. Your emotional well-being isn't just like a nice extra, it's fundamental. If a student is really battling homesickness or feeling overwhelmed by the cultural differences, their ability to learn just plummets. Their motivation to engage with new things, to build new friendships, it all suffers. It can lead to worse grades, pulling back from activities, sometimes even deciding to go home early. The sources really stress that preparing for the psychological challenges is just as important as sorting out the money or the academics. But it's often the bit people underestimate.
Okay, so we've explored the big advantages that amazing cultural immersion potentially reshaping your view of the world, plus access to, top tier or specialized education. And we've also looked honestly at the big hurdles. A serious financial weight, and that emotional roller coaster of homesickness and adjusting. It really is a complex picture.
It really is. And what our sources seem to suggest overall is that while both the pros and cons are very real, the long-term benefits of studying abroad often end up outweighing the difficulties. Now, that doesn't mean the struggles aren't significant. They absolutely are. But the personal growth, the better job prospects down the line, that broader worldview, these tend to be lasting benefits that go way beyond just the time spent studying.
Right. And this seems crucial that positive outcome isn't guaranteed, is it? The research really highlights that this is especially true if students do their homework beforehand, if they plan properly, prepare themselves. It's not just about getting the visa sorted, it's about thinking through potential problems, building resilience, really researching the culture, not just the university, having solid financial backup plans.
Exactly. That preparation is key. Thinking ahead, being realistic, being ready to tackle problems, that's what helps you really make the most of the advantages and lessen the impact of the drawbacks.
And that really brings us towards the end of this deep dive on studying abroad. We've seen it's this pathway with incredible potential new cultures, great education, serious personal development, but it's also one that really demands you think carefully about the real challenges involved, the money, the emotional side, the adjustment, understanding both sides like we've tried to do today, and really thinking it through for yourself. That seems key to making a choice that's right for you.
Absolutely. Because knowing this stuff is one thing, applying it is another. So what does it all mean for you, thinking about your own situation? Reflect on where you are, what you hope to gain, and how ready you feel to really dive in and engage with both the good bits and the tough bits.
And maybe here's one last thing to chew on as you think about it. Beyond the obvious pros like culture and education, and the obvious cons like cost and homesickness, what kind of unexpected personal change, something you didn't even plan for, might actually be the most valuable outcome of studying abroad? And how could you prepare yourself to be open to that? Something to consider. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.